What is up, everybody? This is the first video on this channel. I am Spencer, the sports guru. Just a little bit of background before we head into today's topic. I am 20 years old, just to give a little introductory info on myself. I am currently 20 years old, going to turn 21 in January of next year. I played basketball from the time I was 4 years old up until this last season. So basketball will be one of the main things that I discuss on this channel. I'm a huge Lakers fan, I'm a huge Saints fan, and I'm a huge Dodgers fan. Those are my three teams. Born and raised in a small city down here in Southern California, here in Murrieta. And yeah, I'm a huge sports fan. I love discussing it, I love talking about it. If I could be a sports analyst one day, if this channel turns into that, that would just be icing on the cake. But without further ado, let's get into today's discussion. Alright, so what I would like to talk about is kind of this upcoming NBA season. A few weeks into preseason here, and I think there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, I'm going to talk a lot about the Lakers, and let's start with that. I think, in my personal opinion, the Lakers are obviously going to improve from last year. Yeah, they lost Kobe. That's obviously a huge loss. I don't think people are going to realize how big of a loss that is. Not only on the court, but he was a huge leader. People followed the way he played. Like, everything that he did was just great. In my opinion, the greatest player to ever play the game. And yes, I'm a huge Kobe fan, by evident of this jersey. But yeah, I really, in my humble opinion, think that he is the greatest player to ever play basketball. And I think they're going to miss him a lot. But one thing that I do like, not just one thing, I like a couple different things about the Lakers. I like their influx of youth on this team. I think Brandon Ingram is going to develop pretty quickly here. I actually like him over the pick of Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is going to be a great player, don't get me wrong. I just think for the Lakers system, for the players that they have, for the team that they want to have, Brandon Ingram's the better pick for them. I love D'Angelo Russell in his preseason so far. He's been kind of like I said with the whole Kobe thing. He knows it's his team now. It's his team to run. He's the point guard. He's only 20 years old, but it is definitely his team. I love that they picked him over Okafor in last year's draft. I said that the day that they drafted him. And I just love the preseason that he's having. I think he is top 10 to 15 point guard in the league right now, probably more borderline to 15. But I wouldn't trade him for any other point guard in the league, 1-for-1. So if I'm trading him for 1-for-1 for any other point guard in the entire NBA, not doing it. I think D'Angelo Russell has the most potential on anyone on the Lakers, and I think he's going to have a huge breakout year. But my pick for most improved player is going to be Jordan Clarkson. I like what Luke Walton is doing with him and experimenting with him coming off the bench. I think he could be kind of like what he said, like a Lamar Odom type of player. When they had their championship runs, Lamar Odom was coming off the bench and he was playing fantastic. He was like a starter on the second unit, and I think that's what Jordan Clarkson could do. Obviously not a championship team right now, unfortunately. But I think Jordan Clarkson, he's going to play in the last few minutes of the games, but he's also going to come off the bench and help that bench unit, which I think is actually going to be a strong point this year. I think you have him, Ingram most likely is going to come off the bench, and you also have Larry Nance. So you have some young guys mixed with some veterans. You have Tarek Black off the bench. You have probably Nick Young or Lou Williams, which I cannot stand Nick Young. I don't want him in the Lakers. He's like Kobe without the talent, in my opinion. I don't like Nick Young. So that's what I think about the Lakers. I think the Lakers could be a 30 to 35 win team. I think they have, if all the cards are played right and the West has kind of a down year, they have a chance to fight for an 8th spot. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. In my personal opinion, I have them right around 32, 33 wins. A big improvement of last year. I think they had 18 wins last year, if I'm not mistaken. A big improvement, but I just don't think they have enough talent, and the young players haven't developed yet to make a strong push to the playoffs. But if all the cards are played right, they have a chance to probably play the Warriors, because they're going to be the #1 seed. But I think they have a chance to be that 8th seed in the playoffs. A couple other teams I'm really excited to watch this year. The #1 team I'm really excited to watch is the Timberwolves, and they're a team that I believe can make the playoffs. I love Karl Anthony Towns. I'm also a Kentucky fan. I love Karl-Anthony Towns. I think he's one of the best young players in basketball. I think if you're going to start a team with anybody in the league, you might pick him. If you're starting a team and you can pick anyone. I love Andrew Wiggins. I think he's going to develop into a nice player. I think Zach LaVine's going to have a pretty big developing season. I think he could also be in the run for most improved player with Clarkson. I even like Tom Thibodeau. I think he's going to be a great coach. I love their pick with Chris Dunn. Again, they have a lot of youth in their lineup. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Ricky Rubio and Pekovic, kind of some older players. But I definitely like what they're doing with the young guys. I think they have a chance. I think they do have a chance to make the playoffs. Kind of, again, in that 8th seed. 35 to 40 wins if everything goes right. I don't think they're like, oh yeah, they're for sure going to make the playoffs. But I think they definitely have a chance. Another team I actually am excited to watch, again, kind of with my Kentucky fandom here, the Phoenix Suns. This is a team that I love youth. I just do, if you haven't noticed, with the Lakers and the Timberwolves. But they're, out of those 3 teams, Suns, Timberwolves, and Lakers, they're probably the farthest away from contention right now. They just have a lot of young players to develop. Dragan Bender, Marcus Chris, Tyler Ulis, Devin Booker. I love Devin Booker, but he has a lot to develop too. Archie Goodwin, Alex Len, just so many young players. Brandon Knight, even Eric Bledsoe. But I'm excited for them. I think Devin Booker has a chance. Out of those 3, I think Booker, LaVine, and Clarkson have a chance to win Most Improved Player. Especially Booker. He really came on strong at the end of the year last year, and he has a really good chance to make a difference on this team. But yeah, I love Devin Booker. I think the Suns will be a fun team to watch, but I don't know if they're going to win that many games. They might be probably in the lottery again next year with a top 3 pick. On to my last segment of today's video is my prediction for the NBA awards for the season. I know this is super early, still a few weeks left of the preseason, but I just like to get my opinions out there. I want to show you guys what I think who I think are going to win this year's awards. Obviously, let's start with the MVP, as I think that's the biggest award, no doubt. I think there are going to be a couple players fighting for it. I hate to say it, I'm not a James Harden fan, but I think he's going to be up there. I think Kawhi Leonard is going to be up there out of the San Antonio Spurs. I think LeBron is going to be up there, of course, he's always up there. I think Anthony Davis is going to surprise a lot of people this year, not getting injured, and I think he's going to contend for it. I even think Curry and Durant, both being on the same team, I think they're going to be able to contend for the MVP. But I think the person who it is to lose is Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he's pretty upset that Durant left. I think that's pretty clear. But I think he's going to put up some monster numbers. I don't want to say he's an average triple-double, but he's going to have a lot of them this year, maybe even more than he did last year. I think he had 18 last year. Or no, like 20? Something like that. He had a lot of triple-doubles last year. I could see him averaging 30 points, 8.5 assists, and like 8 rebounds per game, which seems like ridiculous numbers, but I might even be low on that. I think he's going to have an incredible year. And yeah, he's my early pick to win the 2016-2017 NBA MVP. Rookie of the Year is another big award race in the NBA. I don't think Ben Simmons, although the #1 pick, I don't think he's going to win the MVP, especially for the fact that he's probably out until January. I know that's a lot of people's preseason pick, but I do not think that Ben Simmons will be able to win it. I also do not think Brandon Ingram will have a chance to win it. I don't think Brandon Ingram will be playing enough minutes to win the MVP. I think he's going to come off the bench in the beginning of the year. I think Luol Deng is going to start. And maybe even in the end of the year, Luol Deng might be starting. But I definitely think in the beginning, Luol Deng will be starting. Brandon Ingram will be playing a lot, but he won't be starting and getting the minutes he will need to win Rookie of the Year, in my humble opinion. Another person who will obviously be vying for it will be Chris Dunn of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he has a really good chance at winning that. But I don't think he's going to. I think there's just too many people there who are going to take away from his numbers. I think LaVine and Rubio, who kind of both run point, or LaVine runs point at times. Ricky Rubio's most likely going to be the starting point guard unless Chris Dunn can take it away from him. I don't think he's going to be able to win it. A lot of other people's favorites are Denzel Valentine, but I just think with Rondo and Wade and Jimmy Butler and McDermott, like everyone, it's a crowded backcourt, and I don't think Denzel Valentine is going to get the minutes he needs to win this award, kind of like the whole Brandon Ingram thing. My personal pick to win the 2016-2017 NBA Rookie of the Year is Buddy Hield of the New Orleans Pelicans, the 6th overall pick in the NBA draft. I loved him at Oklahoma. I don't think he's just a shooter. I think he's going to be an awesome player. I think he could be a playmaker. People compare him, well, I personally compare him a lot to a not as good ball handler, Damian Lillard. Kind of has a little bit of the same shooting form, but I think he and him have a lot of the same traits. But I think Buddy Hield is just a lights-out shooter. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's going to run the pick and roll a lot with Anthony Davis, which will be awesome to see. And that is my pick to win the 2016-2017 Rookie of the Year in the NBA, Buddy Hield. The next award in the NBA that I will be predicting here is the NBA Defensive Player of the Year. And I know this is an award where you either see like a center get it or a point guard because they average a lot of steals, but my pick is not either of those. I think in the top 5 will be Hassan Whiteside of the Miami Heat. I think he's going to have a really good year. I think DeAndre Jordan, although I hate the Clippers, is going to have a pretty solid year. I think Draymond Green always is a solid defensive player. I think one of the most underrated. I don't think a lot of people think of Draymond Green as a great defender, but I think he can defend 1 through 5. And I also think Karl Anthony Towns is going to have a fantastic year. But my pick to win the Defensive Player of the Year in 2016-2017 in the NBA is Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs. I think we like to call him the Pride of Riverside. I think he's going to have a great year. I don't think losing Duncan loses a lot for the Spurs, except for the whole factor of chemistry, and he's a super great leader. Like, don't get me wrong. But I think he was obviously on the back end of his career when he was still playing. He wasn't playing a ton of minutes. He was missing a lot of games. So I think Kawhi Leonard, not even really his emergence, I just think he's a fantastic defender, best defender in the league in my opinion, and is my pick to win the 2016-2017 Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. The next award I'm going to talk about is the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award. And I do not think, although Jamal Crawford has won it says 3 times now, I don't think he's going to win it. I think he'll be in the top 5 as usual, but I just don't think he's going to win it. I don't think Eric Gordon's going to win it. I don't think Jared Sullinger's going to win it. It comes down to 2 people for me. It comes down to Andre Iguodala of the Golden State Warriors, and it comes down to Enes Kanter of the Oklahoma City Thunder for me. And when I look at an award like this, I look at who's going to get the most playing time and the opportunity, and also the players around him. When you look at Kanter, he's going to have a lot of playing time. He's going to come off the bench because you have Steven Adams and you have Ilyasova, who's most likely going to start. So he's going to have a lot of playing time. But when you look at it, I think Westbrook's going to dominate the ball so much, and I think there's going to be so much to go around, especially with Oladipo and stuff. And I think Kanter's going to have a great year. He's probably going to finish 2nd in the voting for me. I could see him averaging like 14 points, 7.5 rebounds a game, right around there. But my pick to win is Andre Iguodala. I think to win the Sixth Man of the Year, you have to have a pretty good team, and I think Andre Iguodala has the best team in basketball. When you look at it, he's going to come off the bench, and he's probably going to be in a lot of the small ball lineups when you have Curry, Thompson, Iguodala, Green, and you have Durant. But I think Iguodala could play point. I think they're going to have him play point a lot to get Curry off the ball and to get other people open looks. So I think Andre Iguodala, I could see him averaging 6 points, 5 or 6 assists, and like 4 or 5 rebounds. And I think that's my pick personally to win the NBA Sixth Man of the Year in 2016-2017. The next award I'm going to be talking about is the Most Improved Player in the NBA. And I know I mentioned Booker, I mentioned Clarkson, and I mentioned Levine. And I think they all have a chance to finish maybe the top 10. But the only player I really have in there who's going to finish maybe as a top 5 is Devin Booker. I think he's going to have a really, really strong year. But my top players here, I'm going to have my number 3 is going to be Devin Booker. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. And I know he had a good year last year, but I think he's going to really step up and show the Suns that they drafted the right player. And I think he's going to be a lights-out shooter. And I think he's just going to have an awesome, awesome year. My number 2 here is Steven Adams, and he's a player who's really developed over the last few years, but I think he's going to have a really, really good year running a lot of pick and rolls with Russell Westbrook. I think he's going to be a great rebounder, obviously a great defender, and I think he's going to, again, just have a really solid year and finish second. But my pick to win the 2016-2017 Most Improved Player in the NBA this year is D'Angelo Russell of the Los Angeles Lakers, and I talked about him earlier, but I just think the way he's playing, he knows it's his team, it's the way he's playing in preseason, how confident he is, he's just going to have an awesome, awesome year. I could see him having averages of 21 points a game, 7 assists, and maybe 5 rebounds with a couple steals. And those are some awesome numbers. I think he's really going to lead this team. I think he's going to shoot really well, and having Luke Walton as a coach is really, really going to help him in his development. The last award is the Coach of the Year, and kind of just a quick one here. I don't think Steve Kerr is going to win it. I mean, I know you have to be a great coach to coach great talent, but I think that the talent is going to kind of play for itself. I can't see Kerr winning again. I love Popovich, but again, I think he just has a great talented team, but again, he is a fantastic coach. My pick to win the Coach of the Year is not Luke Walton, is Tom Thibodeau, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm hoping and I think he's going to lead them to the playoffs with a lot of young talent, and that is my pick to win the 2016-2017 NBA Coach of the Year. And my predictions for the finals and the playoffs here, in the Eastern Conference, I think it's kind of a steamroll that Cleveland gets to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm kind of stuck on a few teams here. I think the Celtics are going to be pretty good. I think the Raptors are going to be pretty good. I think the Heat are going to be okay. I think the Bulls are going to be okay. But I think it's going to be the Celtics and the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals, with the Cavaliers winning in 6 games. I think LeBron gets to the finals for his 7th or 8th straight year, which is incredible. As much as I do not like him as a player, because I'm a Kobe fan kind of, you got to respect his game, and he is a hell of a player. In the Western Conference, I have the Golden State Warriors against the San Antonio Spurs, which isn't much of a shock either. And I have the Golden State Warriors winning in 6 games as well. I think Golden State just has too much talent to not get to the finals again. And in the finals rematch for the 3rd year in a row, the Cavaliers and the Warriors, just as everyone would want, I do have the Warriors winning this year. I think the addition of Durant is going to be huge. I think the Warriors are going to find a way to play as a team. I think they're going to share the ball really well. I think all their stars are going to play great. I think they win in 6 games. I don't think it gets to a 7th game. LeBron puts up amazing numbers again. My NBA Finals MVP is going to be Steph Curry. He got gypped on it 2 years ago when Iguodala came in. Last year, obviously LeBron, but I think Curry finally gets his NBA Finals MVP, and the Warriors win in 6 games. So guys, that was my first video. Again, I'm Spencer, the Sports Guru. Hope you guys enjoyed. I really hope you guys are going to like this channel. Don't always expect them to be basketball. I could do football, I could do hockey, soccer, baseball, cricket if I can find up enough stuff. I will always be, I think I'm going to be posting some good stuff. I would love to hear your guys' interactions, your guys' predictions, your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Give this channel a subscribe, give this video a like if you liked it, and give me any suggestions you guys have down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Anything that you guys can talk that I can get enough information about, I would love to talk about. And I will be having some, obviously, guest speakers and guest discussionists on this channel as well. So look forward to those. Yeah, hope you guys had an awesome day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.